for tuning in. I am Lydia Odije Ochi.
Ignatius Nkwo for Deadline 360.
In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Karaye, Deadline 360.
A closer system of government to the people over the years, observers say, has been involved in several.
The Gbagi Adorable Marriage Festival remains a sacred obligation.
For Deadline 360, Justina Etam. Efik language, otherwise known as Iko Efik, is a native language of...
Thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi.
The coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has been declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. While clinical trials are ongoing for a vaccine and a possible cure, there is no known treatment for the coronavirus. Nigeria has recorded some of these cases, and people are advised to take these preventive measures to keep themselves safe and contain the further spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water, or use hand sanitizers all the time. Maintain social distancing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice respiratory hygiene. If you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Do not panic. Stop the spread of unconfirmed news. Follow the official government news outlets and report all cases immediately. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Forty-four abducted students of GSSS Kankara now in Katsina safely, and President Muhammadu Buhari gives hope to Nigerians, assuring that all those in captivity will regain freedom. Details on Panorama reaching you live from Abuja. I'm Elizabeth Omori. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us. All the 344 rescued students of government-assigned secondary school Kankino Bello Masari commended the parents of the students for their patience and understanding.
It is a time when you are going to receive properly the rescued boys, students of government science secondary school Kankara who were affected days ago.
They also commended the combined efforts of all security operatives and told the students to consider what happened as some of the challenges of life. He acknowledged that the students really suffered physically and mentally, but advised them to praise God for their release. The governor explained that after the handing over, the students would be medically checked before they are handed over to their parents. The governor expressed appreciation over the goodwill messages received from all parts of the country, saying this is an indication of the oneness of Nigeria, reiterating the security situation is a collective responsibility. And Sheo Adamo is on ground live from Katsina to tell us the situation there. Sheo, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, thank you very much. We are now at the Katsina State Hajj camp, where the rescue students, to be precise, are going to take a time to freshen up because they have been for 6 days unkept. So with me is the secretary to the state government, Dr. Mustafa Mohammed Inwa, who is going to take over from me.
Okay.
Just continue. Okay, hello?
Hello, I can hear you clearly. Thank you so much for joining us on Panorama.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much. Now, could you tell us a little about the children? How are they now?
No, the children are okay. All they look tired, exhaustion,
hunger after staying for 7 days in that condition. But they are all right now. They are already accommodated. They are given food. Now they are eating. They will bath and change clothes. Then their parents will come and start collecting them.
Okay. What about the parents? How are the parents? I know they are happy. Everybody's happy.
There are 344.
Okay.
Yes, and all of them are here. None is lost.
None is lost. We thank God for that. Now, what about the parents? How are they taking the news of the release?
Yes, a few of them are here, happy, praying, thanking God, and they cannot express their joy, honestly, and all of us. Yes, and I believe very soon this place will be full to capacity because the parents understand many of them are on their way coming here. They cannot wait longer. So they will come here and we are doing documentation to ensure that the right person, either father, guardian, is handed over to so that we don't make mistakes. So the ministry officials are here taking statistics of all the children concerned, their names, the names of their parents and other things. And the local government administration also are invited to come to assist, and the government has already secured buses that could transport those who do not have means of transportation to their respective places.
All right.
Including the traditional laws.
I'd like to take you on the issue of medical checks. When would medical checks commence,
yes,
considering the psychological effects of...
Science and medical personnel, they are here also. They are taking care of their health needs because quite a number of them have some challenges, especially with because they were without shoes and trek for a very long distance. And a few cases, certainly, but not any, there's no sign of any major ailment among the children.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate the federal government for the efforts.
Thank you. Thank you.
Meanwhile, President Muhammad Buhari is reassuring the nation that his administration will not leave anything to chance until all Nigerians still in captivity in parts of the country regain freedom and reunited with their families, while the Boko Haram insurgency and other acts of criminality brought to a halt. This while speaking to NTA State House correspondent Adamu Sambo shortly after the release of the abducted students of Government Science Senior Secondary School Kankara in Katsina State.
We thank God that the law enforcement agencies, in this case especially the military, the army, and the governor worked extremely hard. And as soon as they got them, the governor rang me and informed me. And I congratulated him and the army that organized the operation and so on.
How do you personally feel about this development?
The military is well trained. I think they are sufficiently motivated. The governor, I'm very impressed with the governor. He has been, up and doing since it happened. And I congratulated him that the children have been successfully recovered.
There are many Nigerians still in captivity across the country. Is there any hope that they will soon be released?
Well, we are doing our best. Remember when we closed the borders? We found out that still somehow the terrorists or the abductors still get weapons and ammunition. They still take people hostages. They are collecting millions of naira. We have a lot of work ahead of us, and some of the things we may not say. I don't want to compromise the security and the efforts being put by the law enforcement agencies. But really, we are acutely aware of our responsibilities. Our responsibility is to secure the country. So we have a lot of work to do.
What message do you have to the armed forces and other security services in the country in view of the recurring incidents of kidnapping and other acts of terrorism in parts of the country?
Well, armed forces know their job. I meet them. We have security meetings from time to time. They must be very clear of my instructions. Their efforts is not good enough for me. Our responsibility, as I said, is to secure this country for all the citizens to do their businesses without any problem. We haven't achieved that yet, but we'll keep on trying.
What can you assure Nigerians going forward as you continue to execute your mandate?
I will continue to be loyal to this country. I have asked for this mandate. I got it. I must not advance any excuse for failing to perform. But the insecurity, I'm extremely worried about it, and I hope next year it will be different. Those among the law enforcement agencies that remain in charge will be extremely busy.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you very much.
State House correspondent there, Adamu Sambo, in the chat with the President on the release. The President of the Senate, Hamid Lawan, said is relieved at the news of the release of the hundreds of schoolboys kidnapped last week Friday at the government science secondary school Kankara in Katsina State. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity Affairs, Ola Awuni, Senator Lawan said this news will delight their parents and all people of goodwill in Nigeria and across the world who have been horrified by the ordeal of the innocent children. He described the recent incident as enough warning for Nigeria to deploy all the resources required for the security of all Nigerians and the nation's educational institutions. Senator Lawan applauded the prompt intervention and productive engagement of President Muhammad Buhari, Governor Aminu Masari of Katsina, and security agencies for the coordinated efforts. And to speak more on the release, I have with me in the studio Jide Ojo, a public analyst. It's nice to have you in our studio.
The pleasure is mine.
All right, so now, how would you thank you so much, how would you describe the situation considering the psychological effects of this on the children?
First and foremost, we need to appreciate God for the safety and security of the lives of these children while they were in captivity. Yeah. It's 1 week of trauma that many of them will live to remember for many years to come. But the good thing is that they are all safe and will be reunited with their families. The trauma is there, and as the Commissioner for Education in Katsina State, they are going to make them go through psychological and medical evaluation, and those of them who are healed will be treated before they are reunited with their parents. It's just that we need to forestall the reoccurrence of this. This has been abduction too many.
Of course.
In the last 6 years, we have had 3 major abductions, starting with Chibok in 2014, and Dapchi in 2018, and now this Kankara schoolboys. But, you know, I'm happy that the release has taken the steam off those who want to politicize this matter.
Okay.
Because people were already taking political positions, and you could see some political interest groups marching and demanding for the release of the schoolboys. And few hours after this protest started, and government was able to secure the release, which is very important.
That brings me to my next question. Should the method being used here to release these children be adopted for the release of others in captivity?
I wouldn't know what method was used for this, but we also recall that in the case of Dapchi in 2018, I guess, they were also released within days. The only sore point with Dapchi abduction was the non-release of Leah Sharibu, which government still promised they would do everything to release her. And you also recall that under this administration, over 100 of Chibok girls were also, their release was also secured, even though we still have a sizable number in the captivity. So the bottom line is that whatever back channel communication strategy was used, which has worked in the case of Kankara, which has worked in the case of Dapchi, should also be employed. But prevention, it is said, is better than cure. What we need to do now is to prevent reoccurrence of this. And in my column in the Punch newspaper last Wednesday, I actually wrote on this issue and I asked the question about what is happening with our Safe School initiative. There was a Safe School initiative that was launched some few years back, which was meant to secure our public schools. You will be shocked that many of our public schools do not have perimeter fencing. They do not have any security. No scanning machine, no CCTV, nothing. So you can, even with that abduction, there are so many schools that have been raided, that have been vandalized by undesirable elements because there was no security.
Okay.
So this is the time, this is a wake-up call. While we focus on abduction, what is happening to many of our schools, particularly public schools, goes beyond abduction. Like I said, many of them have been vandalized. You see principal's office, one day you will just wake up, everything is gone. All the gadgets, all the furniture will have been vandalized. And many of these are not reported. But where human life is involved, and don't also forget, it's not a northern phenomenon.
Of course.
We have had abduction in Lagos on 2-3 occasions, in Igbola, in Ekpe. Even though the number is small, we have 6 abductions the last time it happened. But prevention, I said.
Okay, now before we talk about prevention, really, how do we secure our schools to avoid such reoccurrence?
That's exactly what I was on. 1, all schools, private or public, must have perimeter fencing. 2, we must put in place some monitoring devices.
Okay.
That's, you need to infuse technology. CCTV